All right, so welcome back again, everybody. And what I wanted to talk to you about right now is something that it may not be for everybody and most likely won't, but I wanted to kind of invite you into my little world and path to financial freedom, credit restoration, and just generally living my life on my own terms. And exactly how I want to, or at least closer to exactly how I want to, and that is with the Robinhood app, the Robinhood stock trading platform. Now, Robinhood has got some negative PR and a lot of positive PR, and just to go over the negatives really quick and just get it out of the way, most of these people that you see using the Robinhood app that are getting themselves into trouble through options trading or leverage trading and stuff like that, and then trying to blame Robinhood for it. Yes, there may have been a glitch in the system, but at the same time, let's just be realistic here. If you're leveraging out and basically borrowing, if you don't know what that means, borrowing money that you don't have, and essentially throwing it down on the tables at the casino, that's not responsible. And the only one who is to blame for that is yourself. So when you get yourself into financial issues like that, don't try to go and pin it on somebody else. Yes, there may have been a glitch in the system, but when you go through and you see that you have, quote unquote, leveraged $1 million, and you don't have $1 million to lose, that's on you. So without, any further ado, let me just go ahead and say this is not financial advice. This is not any kind of investment advice. I am not an investment professional. I am not a financial advisor. I am not licensed to give you any kind of advice on any of this. I am going to give you my personal experience and my personal happenings within the use of this app and the stock market in general, because this is not the only tool that I use or have used. How I got into investing in the first place back around 2014, I just sat down and said, I need to get a handle on the financial future and my credit situation. And at that moment in time, the credit thing wasn't going the greatest. I was trying, but it wasn't in the cards at the moment in time. However, I was getting a hold of my investments and my financial future on that particular aspect, and I was working for Yamaha at the time, which offered a very good 401k, and I started through that and paying very closely attention to my 401k and investing through there. Then I discovered the Robinhood app, and that I could have more hands-on control over what my investments were actually doing. So I slowly started dabbling in the stock market and kind of figuring things out here and there and slowly getting comfortable with investing and actually throwing more money on the table and seeing what would happen. Now, I really didn't put a whole lot of thought into it or a whole lot of time into it. I just kind of randomly would just start chasing things that looked like they were going to make money, or it looked, this looked good because it was cheap. And I didn't know a whole lot about it. And I just kept doing that. And I'm not going to lie, I lost some money. I didn't lose an overly large amount of money, but for the average person, and I am still an average person, it could be considered a lot of money, somewhere between $500 and $1,000, $2,000. I think in total is what I had originally lost, around $2,000. And yeah, it stung at the moment in time because I didn't have that amount of money to lose, but it was because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I wasn't learning about the companies that I was investing into. And I was just chasing everything all pretty well ass backwards and not paying attention. So moving through the years and up to date and everything, around 2017, 2018, I finally got more comfortable to actually throwing $100 down or $200 down and really diving into what I was doing. And I was taking slow steps because I had been burned a couple times, and educating myself. And it doesn't take much more on the education other than, paying attention to the news, paying attention to what's doing good in the economy, what's not doing good in the economy. And just because something isn't doing good in the economy doesn't mean it's not going to pay out through the stock market. Actually, that's sometimes a good time to get in is if something's down, go in and scoop it and hang on to it and wait for it to come back up. Now, with that said, I started throwing more money in, and slowly I got more comfortable with making these, quote unquote bets or investments. And I started gathering more information, reading about the companies, finding out why they were doing poorly or why they were doing good, if they had more room to grow. And it doesn't take a whole lot. It's just sit down and, Google search. Hey, what about this company? What's going on in this company? Being a little bit educated about what you're doing has mountains of power. Just don't get carried away with what you think you know. Because unless you're prepared to lose money, you don't need to be throwing money around. Now, moving even further forward into today, right now is probably one of the best times. It could be considered to be one of the worst times by some, but it could be one of the best times to even be getting into the stock market. And what better way to do it than with the Robinhood app that, number one, allows you to get in for free. It doesn't charge you anything to get in and get involved. If you get in through my link below today and within the next 24 hours, set your account up, and it only takes like 5-10 minutes to set the thing up, and get your bank account linked. You don't have to deposit any money. Just get your account set up, get your bank account linked, and you will get a free stock, and I will get a free stock, and at varying amounts. It could be like $1, it could be, $50, $60 stock or more. I think there's a couple $100, $200 stocks on that list that you could get into. But the main reason for me even pushing this is because, number one, I like Robinhood. I trust Robinhood, and I don't do anything foolish with Robinhood that I cannot man up and say, you know what, that was a bad decision on my part. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it anyway, and that's it. It's called adulting, doing your thing and understanding what you're doing. Everything has a certain level of risk involved, and that's all I can really say on that. Now, with the reason why I'm currently using Robinhood, when I first started using it, I was like, yeah, long-term investment, this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. No, I use my long-term investments and stuff. I have a TD Ameritrade account, which I'll talk about later. I put everything in there because it's just easier for me to ignore that one, because it's just that way for me. There's no particular reason. It's just easier for me to ignore that one and leave my long-term investments over there where I don't touch them. But for Robinhood, you can use Robinhood for any degree, really, of investment. I have the top tier trading level on there because I've had them for so long, and I've put in time with them where I can do options and all this crap, and I just don't do it. It's not really a thing that I'm super educated on, and I'm learning about it, and I do find it interesting. It's just not for me at this moment in time. What I do use Robinhood for, though, is I do a little bit of long term. It's not really long term. It's more of a swing trading type deal. But I could hold something for 2-3 months on Robinhood and then sell it off if that's what I think it's going to do or think I have to do. But for the most part on Robinhood, what I do is a little bit of day trading, which is limited because you have to hold at least $25,000 in your account according to federal rule and mandate in order to do a consistent day trading where you day trade every single day. Where on Robinhood, you're allowed to do 3 day trades in a 5 trading day period before you can continue on, or it will lock your account out. And I do that on a pretty regular basis, where I'll do 3 trades, boom, 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 and then I just can't trade anymore for that week. And that's based off of the federal regulations and guidelines. And the only time I really do that, and I try to stay away from that, is because I don't want my account locked up. I don't want to be able to not move stuff, because there's certain days where some stocks will move and move a lot, and I want to get out. But if I've already locked myself out, I can't do that. And then the other thing that I do is like swing trading, very short-term swing trading, like start at the beginning of the week where I buy something and I have a good inclination that it's going to be a substantial amount higher, or at least a good amount higher, to make me some kind of money by the end of the week. Now, this is also comes into different, varying degrees of what do you call a lot of money. For me, the main objective for me is like I'm training myself right now, and I want to do what's reasonable for me. So if I have a couple $1,000s sitting in my account, which on the average I will have at least a couple $1,000s sitting in my account that I can trade with, because ultimately the more money you can use to trade, the more money you can bring in. And what my goal is like, you see these truck parts I was talking about in a different video I just made. These truck parts I got back here because obviously I'm a truck driver. I take, and it was, 2 weeks ago, I did about $2,000 worth of services to my truck. And these are just little add-ons. It doesn't really count, but it's getting to the point here, is that particular week that I did $2,000 worth of services to the truck, I said, man, you want to know what? If I could make at least $2,000 this week in the stock market through educated trades, that would be nice, because I basically did service to my truck for free. I mean, free. I had to be smart about it and invest in brain power. So I said, that's what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to make it my goal to, by the end of the week, I have all these parts that I'm carrying with me right now to the shop. I'm going to have all these parts paid for, or as close to paid for as I possibly can. Now, did I hit my goal? No, I did not hit my goal. But by the end of the week, I had made $1,200 out of 3 really good day trades. Is that possible for everyone? Yes, that is most definitely possible for everyone. And yes, you can do it through the Robinhood app. And the reason why I like doing it through Robinhood is everything's right at your fingertips, right on your phone, and you can set alerts to let you know what's going on, so you don't have to be watching it all the time. But me personally, because I'm driving down the road, I leave it on. I'll look down at it and be like, oh, well, look, that stock's moving right now. And I'll set a number at which I'm ready to get out at and make my money. Well, with that said, over the course of that week, a 5-day period, I had made 3 really good day trades, and I had made right at $1,200 plus my original investment money. And I pulled it out and I said, okay, I'm done for the week. I can't do anything for pretty much 5 days. So I took 5 days off, let my account clear itself up so I could do more day trading. And I watched for some new moves. I did, in fact, make a couple $100 more money on top of it. So I nearly paid for, in about 2 weeks, I nearly paid for all of my parts. I think all in all, by the time that was said and done, I had made about $1,500. Now, to me, being a normal person and everything, $1,500, hey man, I came within $500 of my goal of paying off these $2,000 worth of parts. So really, I'm not upset. I'm not upset at all. And the only reason why I didn't keep going is because I was watching the market and listening to the news and reading about stuff, and the market just really, it died off. There was no point in me taking my money, my hard-earned money, and putting it back in the market where it's either going to lay there and do nothing or lay there and slowly just keep tapering down. So that's what I do with the Robinhood app. And it's possible for anyone to do that, but you got to be smart about what you're doing. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do this. And it doesn't take an overwhelmingly large amount of knowledge of the stock market in order to do this. It's just educating yourself, watching the news, watching what's going on. and making sure that you're not going to hurt yourself because of ignorance is what it comes down to. So I work on a smaller level right now, teaching myself swing trading and day trading to make, what do I want to make today? What do I want to make this week? My goal is say $500 this week because I want to go and get a new train horn like I got back here, which was not $500, but it was like $200. But, I do stuff like that. Like, what's my goal this week? What do I want to aim for? What can I reasonably attain? That's how I do it. It's not that hard. Again, this is not financial advice. This is not investment advice. It's just my take, my look at things. And I do recommend that if this is something that you are interested in, go ahead and take a shot at it. I mean, everything in life is a gamble. Everything in life is a risk. You have to make educated, how do I want to put this? You have to make educated risks, educated decisions on what you're going to do. Now, me personally, that's my thing right there. I do what I can, as smart as I can. And I think that you and anyone else like you can do the same thing. I mean, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. I mean, if you want to turn it into that, yeah, you can. It's all about how much money you want to throw at the freaking market. I mean, there's times where I wish I had $10,000 in a position where I had $2,000. And there's times where I wish I had $2,000 in a position where I had $100. And, I aim to make no less than $100 if I'm trading off something. I don't want to make any less than $100 on something. And even at that, that's my bottom level mark. I don't want to invest my money to only get, $50 or something like that. If that's all I can get and that's what I need to get in order to get out safe, hey, I'm going to take it. Money's money. But I make as much as I can off as little as I can in as short of a period of time as I can, and kind of aid my daily living or weekly living, monthly living, whatever it is that way. Now, be careful with everything you do, obviously, and this is, again, not financial advice, not investment advice, but if you're interested, it is free. You do get a free stock if you sign up. This is another tool that I have in my belt through credit repair, credit rebuilding, and financial freedom and success through my plan, what I've got going on. If you have any questions, I will leave my new email, which I just started, which I don't know why I hadn't done it before, but it is thediversifiedtrucker@gmail.com. I will put it in the description below. I will also put my referral link for Robinhood below, and that is the only way you can get the free stock, is if you click my link, sign up through there, and you will get a free stock. I'll get a free stock. You have to hang on to it, I do believe, for at least 30 days, and if you decide that you don't want to do this anymore, you can sell it off and get your money. Either way, costs nothing to get started. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me about anything. Doesn't even have to be about Robinhood, but feel free to email me below at thediversifiedtrucker@gmail.com. Everyone have a great day, and I will talk to you later.